Welcome all to Godfather's Fireside Chats. And do you have a deceased influential friend? Well, if you do, we're going to get into that talk and that subject. Let's get into it. Now, these influential and deceased friends are usually hard to have because, first of all, you had to try to find an individual that would be able to influence you as a friend. And you may not have been able to tell what they were all about until um, it was too late. If that wasn't the case, and you were able to find somebody that was still alive and influenced you, the greater amount of time you have with that person would be the basis of the memory. So, in my case, and in some of the other cases I've heard, it's got to do with you didn't even realize it. This was a friend of yours that was just going through life normal, but it just seemed like a lot of stuff was getting piled onto them and they were dealing with it. And it's like, wow, I don't know if I could deal with it that way. So it's um it's difficult when you have that um how are they getting along? How are they doing that? And look at how people see that effort as just being valiant sometimes. But they don't brag about it. They don't talk about it. You don't really like even think about it until all of a sudden they're not there and you're going, wow, did that person have a big load to carry every day? And what's left behind are people that you hear really miss that influence in their lives. And that's the big thing is that uh, if that influence in your life is missing when you really need it, uh, it's sad you can only go on the past experiences. And that's why you hope that the past experiences with that individual um, are solid in your mind, um, are easily brought up as a way of being able to overcome or get an example how others overcame obstacles in their life. It's in my case, this is a friendship from way, way back. Uh, like in the 30, 40-year range. And a buddy of mine got married to a beautiful woman, and they just happened to be both short. So that seemed to fit, except that as time went on, her conditions um, worsened because of her size. And it was the years of dealing with all of the different adventures she went through, especially having 2 kids and being a nurse just the courage when um, things aren't right in your body, or there's things not working right that you can't do anything about. It's it's really important to remember people that have given you that influence. It's a positive one where you saw it in them. They overcame obstacles to be able to be a good example. And the good example is really based on the fact that they know it's the only thing that's going to be of any value to their family or their friends. It's always important to be able to see that if somebody is um, seen as an influential friend, that there's a reciprocation too of um, what's being asked of you. Um, it's um, it's a way of being able to say there is an interaction with that person that I have such a great respect for, so that the memories are going both ways. I mean, at points sometimes where this particular person had no way of getting around except being tied to an oxygen bottle. So, I mean, when you're limited like that and you can still be an active force on the computer through whatever means you can use, like Facebook or whatever, and keep your mind active and keep your family in touch from wherever they are, even though they know that shoots, they're not having much fun at the other end of the computer line here, because we know that that influential person is really going under the weather many times as they get older, where even hospitalizations start taking effect. And then, of course, the presence of that person's no longer on these um sites, and then you start thinking, oh, maybe they got overtaken by their obstacles in their life. But boy, they were tough up to that fucking point. Like, it's just amazing. And you just say to yourself, I sure hope I can be that for somebody one day. Or sure hope I got the guts to remember that others have had it harder than I've had in different circumstances. And it takes away a lot of the self pity sometimes, from different individuals that shouldn't have it. There's just too much of difference in the ones that are on their way out because of the tremendous um, unhappiness in their body. So uh, when you're not feeling any of that unhappiness, um, yeah, just remember, when you do, be strong. You've had good influences. Any one of these friends has had possible families and friends themselves that also have been influenced with the journey this person has taken. It carries far and long a good life that was lived with integrity and with fortitude. You know what the goal is. It's very important not to deviate and pretend that you can take a shortcut. Taking shortcuts doesn't give good examples. A lot of these people um, put in their time without um, hesitating, knowing that every day counted. Those days are also the lasting memories that were given and that can't be forgotten. Especially as times get tougher and tougher, these are the only things that we have as human beings to look forward to. And friends that are our age, our demographic, and can live a life that can they can be proud of and that can live on as an influence for their family and their friends has had a very prosperous and fruitful life because they stand as having a lot more of that impact for the future. And that helps against the maybe unpositive influences that the younger generation can be influenced by. When you have a chance to look up to somebody and say, wow, that was a tough person, it just gives you that little bit of, I can do that too. Even something you're scared of that doesn't even have to do with what that other person did or you're uncomfortable with. And when others are watching you and they see you go through it, you may become the influence you weren't sure you could ever be. And that one day when it's your turn, you may become the deceased influential person you always knew you could be. For me, the the people that remain from having been touched by these positive influences just are able to bring about more of the courage that's needed to help young people believe that that's a way of being. That's another look what this person had to do to get along every day. And this is what you're up against. And they're different, aren't they? Because this one seems unsurmountable. But I guess with the will of steel or whatever that person had, they were able to say, this is not the end of the journey now. I have so much more to achieve. They determined their presence and they're present every day. By doing that, they knew thinking about the past or dreaming about the future was not important. It was the here and now, and it was how that day's influences was going to help make a lot more happy people. Even just a discussion on calming somebody down or just being able to be a listening post or whatever. It's a very important thing. And I'm very happy that uh, through the fireside chats, discussions and topics like this come up. Life goes pretty fast. And if we forget that we have these people in our lives that were there in the past but aren't there now, but the shit they did, the stuff they did, it's just amazing when they were around. I shouldn't forget that. I should say thank you for being part of my life. Thank you for interacting with me so I can remember those times, whether it's a hug, whether it's a laugh, sitting by the fire. It's never bad. And it just leaves a lasting memory that is hard to erase. It's just hard to erase. Oh, well, we're going to end her here, I think. Well, it gets on a good note. So, as always, take care. Thanks for watching. Frog Father out. If I can be.